Hello, besties! Welcome to Martinez with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossips from your favorite reality TV shows. Okay, guys, first of all, today has been one of those days where like trolls are just like non-stop messaging, and sometimes I like Meredith Mark says, I can't even say her name sometimes. Meredith Mark says, I disengage completely from trolls attacks because I don't give a fuck what anyone says or think about me or how I look or anything. But this person in particular was attacking me and going after like my parents. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a little time. I'm gonna give them a little energy. But now I'm so happy that I remember one thing. It's better to keep the peace for your own mental health. And sometimes the block button is the best way to go when the energy is not there. Like I shouldn't be invested on this negative energy, especially after what I went through. Uh, you know, in general, and my mental health, I decided to block somebody, and I'm like, it feels good. It feels good to simply block somebody sometimes. Talking about mental health, we're gonna be talking tonight about Atlanta, which was a lot. The conversation on this episode was a lot about mental health, and I think it's important for us to dive into this one. We have a conversation about Drew and Rolf. We have Kenya sharing her um, wanting to have a baby. So there's a lot of topics that I really want to share with you guys, and I really enjoyed this episode more than others because there was a sense of like support between the girls, and even though they were being shady at times, it was fun shade. So as we get closer to the end of Atlanta, I think it's finally picking up and finding its footing, but it's a little too late maybe because this season hasn't given me much. It feels repetitive and rehashing all storylines, like like the whole kiss with Latoya and stuff like that. I was not very sold into that. Also, we're gonna be talking about New York. I love New York, you guys. I am really happy with how this reboot is coming out and how it's gaining the heart of the fans, because at the beginning I've been a number one fan of this reboot. I've been excited since it was announced, but I felt like there was a big pushback from fans because a lot of people were not wanting to just let go of the idea that New York is only for the old cast. Both casts can survive and live together. I still believe that there are chances that in the future, when this cast is fully like cemented with the fans, I I feel like all cast members are gonna make the rounds in this new like universe, quote unquote, of New York. They all live in the same city. They all walk around in the same circles. So I wouldn't be surprised that we might see a party from Jill Zarin on the show, or maybe Dorinda, or maybe I don't know, even even Ramona, even though she hates some of these ladies for what I heard on Watch What Happen Live. I wouldn't be surprised that they interact with the new cast at one point. And if you haven't been paying attention of the Real Housewife of New Jersey streets, today seems like the talk of the street is the fact that Joe Fuda allegedly kind of like silenced Britney, his ex that is away, right? And when she was ready to finally talk, when she was ready to finally talk, she was silenced. And one of my favorite accounts on Twitter is Melissa's Old Nose. I'm pretty sure if you are into the crazy mess that is Real Housewives of New Jersey, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Um, they posted today a series of like text and DMs between someone and Brittany shared a very personal details about their sexual life, meaning John Fuda's and Brittany's life. And this is what happened. A lot of people are saying that she is just being, vindictive. But at the same time, I mean, if somebody is trying to silence you, I mean, you are going to retaliate and, share your secrets. And it seems like even uh, I don't know, those dildos with two heads, there was even conversation about it. I mean, I'm not gonna shame somebody for their sexual needs and likes. I mean, if a guy likes to use a dildo, that doesn't make him gay. That just simply like is a guy who likes to play. I mean, that's allegedly. I don't want people to say that I'm trying to paint John Fuda about doing this kind of stuff. But this is what Britney shared on this series of um, DMs with this account that Melissa's All Knows shared exclusively on their Twitter. And I'm shocked because funny thing is like this morning I posted on Twitter that the New Jersey just started filming, correct? And they are going to talk about all stories because they cannot just ignore what it was said at the reunion or anything like that. And I posted on Twitter, like, let me read the tweet because I want to make sure that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. We know that when the housewife and a reunion with a specific topic, that's what they are going to talk about, right? Um, in the last reunion, John Fuda, was trying to create this storyline that Louis was the one contacting Brittany to get information and kind of like, get her to talk, you know? But a few weeks after the reunion was filmed and aired, somebody contacted the Sun, which was the media that released this interview with Britney, the one that John Fuda said that it was requested by Louis to be done, right? Somebody sent an email to the senior exclusive reporter for the Sun. Her name is Diana Cooper. This email asked, "Hey, out of curiosity, how did you find?" Oh, actually, no. Brittany herself was the one who asked. I have it here. I have her email. I pull it out. I'm just going through it. Brittany herself asked her how she found out about her name, and uh, Diana Cooper replies saying, "Sorry, I was on a long flight today. Media has access to a portal. We look up people, and you were found as a relative acquaintance of John." And then court docs confirmed it wasn't Louis, because that's what it was being said, right? So this morning I posted a Twitter saying, now that the New Jersey season 14 started filming, let's keep something in mind. Within a week after the reunion was filmed and aired, Brittany, John Fuda's ex, was ready to talk and was allegedly silenced by John Fuda via intimidation phone calls to the halfway house where she currently is. I mean, luckily, we were able to see leaked emails from the Sun that Louis had nothing to do with her being located. And people are saying, why are you talking about this right now? Why are you trying to defend Louis? I'm like, I'm not trying to defend Louis. I just want to make sure that now that they started filming, and we know that these conversations are going to be brought up to the light once again. I mean, we need to make sure that we start fresh, knowing the truth, right? So I wouldn't doubt that John Fuda is gonna try to push the story about Louis once again, because beside that, what else they have going on is my question. I mean, I'm curious to see what they bring next season, because they were asked back. I mean, everybody was asked back, as we know. They all are filming so far. Everybody has filmed solo scenes and stuff like that. The first group scene is going to be, for what I heard or I saw on Twitter, Jen Fessler's birthday, right? So they are going to be seeing each other for the first time after filming the reunion, because nobody that has been in a bad turn with each other has seen each other since the reunion, meaning Teresa, Jennifer Aiden, Danielle, right, are going to be seeing um, Melissa, Margaret, and Rachel Fuda for the first time when they filmed that party scene, right? Um, I'm really interested to see how this goes, especially, like I said, that we need to keep these details in mind when we watch the show when it airs next year, right? Um, I'm gonna bookmark it because I'm gonna go back to it whenever the conversation comes on the show. But I'm really surprised that today, in particular, it seems like this topic is resurfing, and I do believe it has to do a lot with the reunion. I just wanted to say that before starting the deep dive, because it was interesting for me to see that. And I'm hoping that as we see more leaks about the season being filmed, about what the Jersey girls are doing, I want to see how the relationship shift. I want to see who's gonna turn on who, and how they are going to, film. Because based on what we saw during the reunion, Teresa is done with Melissa, and it's gonna be really awkward to be in the same room. And I really doubt that there's anything else to address at this point. I mean, they said their piece, and I think it's time to move on. It's gonna be a very interesting season next season, I think. I'm excited though. I love Jersey. As a Jersey person, I love my Jersey girls. I just hope that it brings something new. I'm kind of tired of the same shore trips every summer. Okay, let's get into the Atlanta of it all, because, like I said before, it actually was an okay episode. I've been having issue following with this season because it always it's giving disjointed, and it's hard to follow at some point, because it just like, come on, like we need to move on from all storylines. So let's talk about the first topic of the episode, which is the mental health of Drew's sister, right? They went to this place, and she shared that the reason why she had that big mental breakdown was because she was going through a divorce. And I can relate to that a lot. I'm saying that because I went through a divorce too, and it actually triggered most of my current mental health issues, like, um, panic attacks, depression, anxiety, all this stuff. Even though I had those before that, obviously, it seemed like that event in my life triggered those hardcore. So when I saw Drew's sister sharing that, it felt very personal. It felt like, okay, I can connect with this story. I know how it feels, and I know in some level how um, maybe lonely she felt. Right? It's interesting though, because when Drew's talking about how confused she was when her sister was going through it, because she didn't know anything about mental health, because it's true, talking about mental health is still very fresh, right? It's not something that we grew up talking about, and I'm talking about me, like my generation, like I'm in my late 30s, right? So a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, and up, we didn't grow up talking about anxiety, depression, or anything like that, because it was paint it as if you were crazy. Like, you don't get depressed, you don't get anxious, you just probably just sad. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I always heard when I told my mom that I was feeling really weird, really shaky, or or scared or something. She said like, "Oh, just drink a little water. It's just your nerves." I mean, she was kind of right. It was my nerves, but it wasn't because I was nervous. It was because I was wired differently because my anxiety and depression, right? Um, so Drew said that, and I was like, I agree. Not everybody talks about anxiety and depression, and believe it or not, in minority groups, it seems like it's a cultural mentality to never talk about it. Drew mentioned that in the Black community, mental health is not a topic of conversation that you have at home, and me as a Spaniard, as a Spanish speaking person, I can agree on the fact that at least Latinos and Hispanic and Spanish speaking people also don't talk about it much. You know, they it seems like a sign of weakness, and if you open up to other people, you are looked differently. So this type of conversation done in a show that I love on a channel that I watch all the time makes me happy because it's normalizing the topic. It's not making it a taboo to go and say, you know what, I have panic attacks. You know, um, when Drew's sister was talking to the entire group when they went to the house, right? She said that in 2020 she started to have panic attacks to the point of calling 911 multiple times. And believe it or not, that was me too. Not in 2020, it was before that. To the point that when I was, you know, at the hospital, the nurses and the doctors knew who I was. That's how bad my anxiety and panic attacks were and how often they were happening. It was never that often until suddenly maybe my after my divorce, my first divorce, and maybe that's why I appreciated this episode, right? One very important detail that I noticed is the fact that even Drew herself, it's learning and dealing with her own feelings through her sister, even though she didn't understand that before. And I'm happy that even Shire was an inspiration for Drew to do this because, as she shared with the group, the reason why she did this was because she found a moment of peace and happiness on that trip to Portugal, that it was supposed to be kind of the same idea for Shira, like a mental body health retreat. Somebody who is going to need a lot of body retreat is Sanya, because on this episode she finally shared the news that she's pregnant with Ross, obviously first, and the way that she did it was very cute. She put the result of the test in like a notebook, right? And he opened it and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's a positive pregnant test." And he started sweating. She looked so happy. I'm gonna say one thing. I had said it on previous podcast episodes, and I still maintain that feeling when I watch her solo scenes. I like Sanya as a individual. I don't think she's a great housewife, full-time housewife. She might work for a friend position better, but these type of scenes where she's interacting with Ross and even her family, because then she revealed that to her family with like, "We are pregnant," writing on the back of their t-shirt, but they were not necessarily in the right order, so the family at the beginning was confused. But those type of like moments are what kind of those are the moments that I like Sanya the most. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you guys really like her, even as a cast member. But I want to know your opinion on that. I want to know how you feel about Sanya overall. Do you think she better as a friend of? Is she better as a full time, or maybe she should just get her own show with her family? What do you think? I would like to know that. Um, Funny part is that Sanya has been trying to get her family out of the house the whole entire season, and now that they actually found a home, she's like, "Oh my gosh! Now I have to find now I have to find a nanny." I'm like, "Well, maybe if you didn't kick out your family, they could help you with the new baby too." But they already made their mind and they found a place that they like, so they are packing their stuff and moving to an apartment. Good for them, because Sanya was definitely very persistent on the fact that they were taking space in the house. So they say, "Peace out, we out." There was a very awkward date between Drew and Ralph. Awkward, it's an understatement. It was weird. I do believe that Ralph has been checked out of that marriage for a very long time, and he was just waiting for the moment that Drew just break down and gives in and just stop being invested in the marriage. He is being checked out for a while. You can tell. It, like even on this scene at the bowling alley, I think that Ralph saying that he, I mean, that Drew saying that Ralph stopped going to the marriage counseling when the therapist was holding him accountable, it says a lot about how committed is Ralph to Drew in this marriage. I believe that steams is come from their issue come from like a lack of support, communication, and willing to meet each other like halfway. You know, I just I'm just happy that they're divorced. Believe it or not, they were not happy. They were not happy at all. And it kind of sucks that every time that they try to paint this like perfect family, or like there's not that we're not that bad, we have just normal issues. I'm like, yeah, but when you see their chemistry on the show, pretty non-existent chemistry, make you realize that sometimes it's better just cut the issue from the root and just start somewhere else. They were really just doomed for a long time. Even at the end when the therapist went to see Drew, and you can hear in her voice that she was checked out. Oh no, that she was like at the verge of giving up, and Rolf was checked out completely from the marriage. And the therapist told Drew very this like very deep words that are still like in my head, because it's like true. He said, "Your first relationship is with yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can be there for your kids, you can be there for your marriage, you can be there for any type of relationship, because you should be having a relationship with yourself first and love yourself." It kind of remind me of RuPaul from Drag Race. You know, she always says like, if you can love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? It's true, and that is exactly what um, I got from that interaction between Rolf and Drew at the bowling alley. And then afterwards, when they were at that mental health retreat, and you can tell that Drew was waiting for Rolf to hug her, and he hugged everybody but Drew. In that moment, you know that they are not going to last. They were already making it public, and everybody who was there noticed it. In every single one of the girls' confessionals, they said, you know what? I mean, he ignored her. Like, he didn't care. Honestly, I really hope that now that Drew is single, she can find herself in a happier place with whoever she wants in the moment that she wants. And I'm saying this because I think Ralph had been having his own time on the side before he divorced Drew, right? Um, Even on the flashback, they were showing the time that that he was away, that the assistant wanted to give him a new like a massage, you know, the Vegas trip and all this stuff. So he was. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, he's a man, and men don't care. That is the reality. It's kind of sad though. Another person who definitely is in the path of finding, I would say, new love is Kenya. And when I say new love, it's not necessarily with somebody else, but with a baby. She is having, you know, baby fever. She wants to have a baby, and she invited Candy and one of Candy's friends just to have like a nice lunch, and she was sharing with them that she would like to try to do surrogacy, use a surrogate. And both of them, Candy and her friend, have used the same girl, to bring their babies to the world. And they told Kenya, like, you have to do it if you want to do it, and also you gotta ignore what other people are going to say about you, because people are gonna talk, but what they say is none of your business. It's not whatever, it's their problem, not yours. And that's something that I've been trying to remind myself every single day, that sometimes when people comment nasty stuff on my Twitter or whatever, you just gotta ignore it. You just gotta not pay attention, because you're wasting your energy. So I think that the same advice that Candy was trying to tell Kenya, like, don't waste your energy with what people are talking about, because people are going to talk about regardless. In the truth, people talk. That's what they do. That's what we do. Look at me right now talking. But um, I support the idea of uh, women using surrogate to bring kids to the world, because it's not just for vanity, but sometimes there's health reasons. There is you know chances that they don't have the right vitamins or whatever in their system, that maybe a pregnancy is too dangerous. There's many reasons. It's not just only um, vanity. Age is another very important reason that many women decide to use somebody else as the vessel of their kids. I don't know about you guys. I want to also know your opinion on that topic, because interesting enough, like we've been talking about Atlanta, and this is just one episode, and the topics are very deep. We have divorce, we have mental health, we have marriage counseling, we have surrogacy. Those are deep conversation. This is uh yeah. Another thing that I noticed when they were talking though is how quickly they can go from talking about something really deep like surrogacy to just gossip. They were gossiping about Shire's birthday dinner at Nobu, and allegedly Martel asked them to cash app him for the food. I mean, I'm gonna say one thing. If you are inviting people for your birthday dinner, do not expect people to pay for the dinner. Yeah, I mean, some people are kind of um, thinking the friends are gonna pay for their dinner because it's their birthday. But if you plan a dinner for your birthday, you should plan on paying for it too. So that's why Sanya was chitty chatting with Kenya about Martel doing that, saying like, "Hey, it was $1,500. I mean, you should just pay the bill." At the same time, Shrek was at this like groomer with her dog Gotti, which by the way is such a beautiful dog. I love big dogs. I have three huskies and I love them more than anything, more than my own life. They're my heart and my soul. So I'm a big dog person, especially I love big dogs. So when I saw Shirez's dogs, I'm like, oh my gosh, gorgeous. God is gorgeous. Funny thing is that when she was at the groomer, I noticed that she was wearing Shiba Shire because of the star. I want to know if anybody else has worn her pieces because the only person that I've seen wearing Shiba Shire is Shire herself. Like, did anyone purchase anything? I want to know that. I've been asking this question for over a year since the last reunion when the clothing line website went live and crashed, and allegedly was because he was so busy, but I'm 100% sure that nobody bought a damn thing. I remember that one of the first episodes this season was at like a Shiraz like warehouse, quote unquote. It was just like a wall with like a little rack. Honestly, you guys, who bought Shiba Shiraz? And I'm not trying to knock Shiraz down because I like when housewives succeed in their businesses. I buy stuff even from housewives that I don't like. It just like I like to see them succeed in whatever business they're trying to do, right? So it's not like I'm trying to make fun of Shire. I do think she was a little delusional because I went to check her website crashed, and a couple days later, I was just like cruising around the internet, and I went back to it, and I saw the prices. I was like, Shire, please, you're not selling Lululemons here. You are selling Shiba Shire, an athletic line that nobody knows. So 200 $300 for a sweatpant and a sweatshirt doesn't sound very affordable to me. I mean, if it was a brand, if it was like a legit brand, I'd be like, okay, whatever, I kind of get it, but it's Shiba Shiret. Like, doesn't make any sense. So, which also explain, I mean, her website crashing also explains why Shire still using an AOL email. Like, come on. Like, nobody has used AOL since the early 2000s. Like, maybe 2001. I remember the goddamn AOL sound. The that thing was so loud and crazy, and it's one of those sounds that you remember. So, and they added it to the episode when she said an AOL email. Hysterical. I mean, the editors of this show are definitely, running with it, and I love it. Like, they are freaking hysterical when they do this stuff. Honestly, AOL, Shirek, like, come on, like, at least get a Gmail. At least it sounds a little more professional than saying AOL. You sound like really, really like not tech savvy at all. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Then at the end was, the mental health retreat was pretty much the rest of the episode, correct? Um, remember when they were drinking that green stuff at like at the entrance of the building, and Candy passed by and said like, "No, thank you." That was so me. One thing that I will never drink again, because I did it in the past, not anymore, is anything that is green. I do not like green juice. I do not like grass shot, none of that stuff. If the liquid is green, I'm not drinking it. Period.com. So in Candy, everyone is grabbing the little juice and drinking it, and then Candy is like, "No, thank you. No, I don't want it." I was like, "Yep, that's me." They also talk about the court session or the trial. I don't know what it is. Whatever Drew went to court for that lawsuit. It's interesting to see how she went from saying that she owed this person $1,000 to $10,000. That's a huge difference. That's $9,000 difference. So I want to know what happened with that. We will definitely find out. I mean, it's probably out there, but am I that interested in knowing about this? Not really. But they even stage like a press. When they were doing those flashback, and she's outside the court wearing this like leather suit with the hair like straight, kind of giving like Uma Thurman and Kill Bill or something like that. I don't know. I was like, what is happening? Like, Drew, what is all this? And it's so embarrassing because it looks so staged and faked. Like, why would you do that? Like, you are doing the most, and it looks so bad. At least she was trying to do something like that. Like, I don't know, invite more people to pretend to be press. There was only one person with a camera, and I'm pretty sure it's probably Drew's friend pretending to be a paparazzi. It was freaking hysterical. I mean, as closer we get to the reunion, because it's airing on. I know that it's airing very soon. Let me give you the date. September 3rd. So we are just a few episodes away from the end of Atlanta. So the closer we get to that reunion, the more I understand the seating chart. To be honest, I'm still confused about who makes the decisions of creating these charts that don't make them sense. I still do not get why last season and this season the charts don't make sense. So I wonder if the person who's creating them, it's a true fan of the show and actually watches the show, because it doesn't seem like it. But the closer we get to it, the more I see why Drew got the first seat. Because especially on the last episode, you can tell that she has issue with her marriage. She has issue with Courtney now. She has issue with some of the ladies already, like from Portugal. And then you have her divorce. You have her mental health. So there is a lot of questions that Andy probably wanna ask, and it's the best having her next to him. But overall, do I think she deserved it? No. I mean, I do not get it. And I still don't get how Sheree got first seat on the opposite side of the couch. Like, I'm not a fan of Marlo, but I think Marlo did way more than Sheree. I mean, that's just my opinion. I was expecting Marlo being across from Kenya first seats next to Andy, but surprise, surprise, Bravo never stopped surprising us. That's for sure. Let's talk about New York now. I think we got our, you know, little taste of peaches. So now let's go to the Big Apple, because this latest episode was a roller coaster. It was ups and down, left and right, and I was living for every single moment of this last episode. Um, Bren, in the first segment of the show, it was the continuation of the Friendsgiving party, right? And we get back to that really heavy topic of Bren's upbringing. It was heartbreaking because, like, Jenna Lyons says, she's such a beautiful girl. She's so, bright and funny and warm that it's hard to see somebody like that having such a raw moment. You know, I really love that they had that special conversation with her and they bonded over it and they rally around her. And it's a new group of friends. Like I mentioned before, I do believe that they knew who they were, but I don't think they were like besties or like that close. So they are learning from each other in the process. And I love that. Like when they were toasting, they said like to build in families, like new families. So that's what they're doing. They are building a new connection through the show, and we as viewers are connecting with them. Uh, Brain said something that also stuck with me, and she said, "You choose happiness, and I'm so much better, and it's so much better to just be happy." It's true. Sometimes we allow exterior energy to affect us, but we should be powerful enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna choose happiness, and I'm going to eliminate the bad energy around me or the bad memories, and just stay focused on my happiness. That's what I got from Brent, and I love that. I mean, on the other hand, we have like comedic relief with Uba, who said that she loved Thanksgiving because there's no families in the city. The city is empty. Everything is 50% off, and it's true. I like her for that reason. Priorities. Trust me. If one thing truly makes me happy is going to like Nimas Marcus or like Beckdorf or Bloomingdale's and find like a 50% off really nice pair of shoes. 'Cause I love shoes. I want to have a collection like Jenna Lyons, like 300 pairs of shoes. And they still going after Jessel. I mean, they talked about the whole cackling hacks topic. Do I think it's offensive? Maybe for us, yes. But it seems like in what you call British humor is just saying. I mean, it didn't seem that bad in the way that she said it, the connotation and what she was trying to say. But they are going hard on Jessel, especially Erin. I mean, I like them both. I like everybody on that show. Hi, Candy. Thank you for joining. Hello. Hi, how are ya? And yeah, I am talking about New York. I was saying that Jessel, I mean, I like Jessel and Erin. I mean, I think every single one of these new cast girls are bringing different stuff to the table, and they are making the show work. So I still don't have like a favorite. Obviously I love Brent, but every single one of these girls brings something to the table that I appreciate, right? And Jessel's kind of like sense of, I don't know. She's so good at saying stuff that if I say might be like offensive, but she says them in such a way that you kind of like go like, that is actually funny. um, yes, Candy, I agree with you. I like Erin and Jessel, but Jessel is a lot. I'm loving this. Yes, I like Erin, but Jessel is a lot. Somebody posted on the internet on Twitter that Jessel is Ramona without the racism. I mean, if you are a RHONY fan, you should get the analogy. I get it. I mean, Jessel can be a lot. Jessel can be kind of like demanding at times. Um, but she also worked really hard in the fashion industry, and she kind of like likes to show that she has work for it. So it is kind of giving Ramona like kind of that level of like, I don't want to call it delusion because it's not delusion, but it's that sense of like they are above people, you know. I don't get that from Jessel. I don't think she is somebody who look upon people, but maybe her demeanor and the way that she talk, maybe because she's British. Remember when people used to say that about LVP too? Like, oh, she sounds so snobby, or she sounds like she feels like she's better than everybody else, and all her British humor. And now we had Jessel here. I kind of get it too. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's why people have the wrong idea about LVP, because maybe people see this British behavior as a sense of being superior to others, and it's maybe just their personality. Um, when Jessel said that Tribeca was an up and coming neighborhood, I was like, that is some next level delusion. I mean, literally, Tribeca is one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. So for somebody to say like, "Oh no, this is just an up and coming neighborhood," I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And I thought I was delusional. I thought that my podcaster creator mind was delusional. I think I found my bestie right there. um, Candy shares, I think Jessel is insecure and unhappy. Um, I don't know. I maybe I kind of want to. What I am curious about, what I really am curious about, it's how Jessel and her husband interact in a group environment, right? I want to see that scene to compare how they act in private, or like at least on their solo scenes, because a lot of people online are saying that they don't seem to be a happy marriage. Like their body language it doesn't seem like it's in sync. It's kind of giving Rolf and Drew. Some people said that. Some people said like, "Hey, it looks like they are the next ones to go in the Bravo universe." Um, I don't want to. I don't want to add my 2 cents on that topic because I don't know enough of them about them to kind of like get that. Um, I like make that assumption perhaps, but it seems like a lot of people see that. So I'm kind of want to wait and see how the reunion goes too, because I'm 100% sure that they have to bring this up, because the ladies are starting to question it more and more and more, especially the way that they are seeing her being insecure, or a little too much. I agree with this one though. Candy just said, "You don't say that you didn't have sex for 2 years because you are happy." I agree. I think that comes with communication too. Like, I understand that you had kids. I understand that you are new parents and life changes, but there has to be a sense of intimacy. And I'm not just saying like you have to like, put your dick inside a hole. I don't want to be more graphic than that, but that's what it is. You don't want to think like sex is just about uh, putting your parts inside somebody else's part or robbing each other's parts. No, sex or intimacy is way more than that, and that comes clear in people's body language, how they interact with each other, how their bodies kind of lean on each other, and how they kind of attract each other, right? Um, but it does seems like there might be some kind of like disconnection between them. Maybe they're gonna be talking about it in future seasons. Maybe they're gonna talk about it on this season, you know. But 2 years of no sex, or maybe not even any sexual interest, seems to me that is a kind of like a red flag of, you know, marital issues. I still believe that what we love about this new reboot is the fact that the drama is back to what Housewife used to be, which is just rich people drama that nobody else has or nobody else care to have, like fighting over caviar, or fighting over cheese, or fighting over a restaurant because it's not good enough. You know, now we had the fight over why Tribeca is an up and coming neighborhood, and how offended Erin was that um that Jessel made that comment about her neighborhood, right? That's the type of drama that we as Bravoholics started watching Housewife for, you know? And maybe because they are going back to basic perhaps, but a modern twist to it is the reason why this show is working. If you haven't watched it because you are still holding on to the old Ronnie, I'm asking you to give it a chance. Even if it's just like a binge watch, because the more you watch the episode, the more in love you fall with this character, and the more intrigued you get, the more interested on knowing them you get. So, I mean, that Aaron versus Jessel argument last night went from, not knowing that Jessel was working. So Jessel thought that Aaron was being condescending, and then Jessel was called a princess because she was very demanding and thinking that Tribeca was an up and coming neighborhood, and that was just happening in just one scene between Jessel and Aaron. And I was so happy that when I was reading the tweets online about the show, people were engaging in how, in this topic, how we used to talk before it became dark and heavy. It's refreshing that finally we can talk about Housewife without having to cut each other's throat. Another moment that is so housewifey because it's so rich and really like out of touch was that scene with Jenna Lyons and her friend when they were trying to kind of like select items to sell and to keep and to storage, and every single item that Jenna Lyons showed was either worn by a huge celebrity like Beyonce, or a dress that she wore to meet the Obamas in the White House, or this really sparkly like shirt dress thing that she wore when she made Kate Middleton. Like, like if that was not some serious name dropping, you know, um, which remind us, which rem, oh my gosh, yes, I need to read this because it's exactly how I feel. Candy said the Jenna Lyons scene with the clothes reminded me of Sonia with her interns going through her townhouse. And that's exactly how it felt. Because it felt so out of touch and so like housewifey that it did remind me of Sonia with her interns. It was hysterical. I mean, I, I I remember when people used to say like, "Who are these people? These people are nobody. These people are just influencers." And in just a few episodes, we had get to know what they truly do. And Jenna Lyons dropping these names just by holding clothing, that's some big, like big deal. It's like iconic, but it is true. It is given Sonia with her interest energy. Candy, that was on point. you know, the the party at Jessel's house, that was full with fashion people. So it was it was a way for her to say, you know what, Erin, I do work and I work really hard. A lot of people are pointing out that her social media for her um, PR work or whatever she does in fashion, like fashion, I don't know, editor or whatever, is not very current. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that just because most likely it will come up on the reunion. Is it a real thing? Is it a made out thing? Um, yeah, we will figure that out together. I'll keep an eye on it. The wine moment between Aaron, Sai, Bryn was hysterical because Erin went to get some wine and she said that that was some disgusting ass wine. She called it like it was worse than Trader Joe's wine. And Sai said the $2 chalk wine. Oh my gosh. Uh Again, they are getting to know each other, right? So when they call Jenna Lyons and she is home, with her kids and her grandkids, and I mean her gat kids, um, decorating the tree for Christmas, and they call her because they thought that she had an event at home. How do you feel about that one? Did she lie about it because she didn't want to um, feel like she needed to go to this party? She could have easily had said, my son is in town. I only see him once a year. I'm sorry, I can't come. I'm pretty sure the Jessel will have not be, upset about it. But the fact that she said that she was having an event, do you think that she lied, or for her, in her mind, in her Jenna Lyons mind, um, maybe she thought that that was an event, having her kids uh, decorating the tree. She had a chef. That's another stuff that I'm always happy to see, that we are back to really silly, unnecessary people around the housewives. Remember in Beverly Hills back in the day when I forgot his name. The guy who was like she Beverly Hills. The party planner. I forgot his name. He was always really funny. Um, he was always around Lisa Vanderpump, even if she wasn't even planning a party. He was always around. He was not a friend. Um, he was not a friend of the cast. He was not a special guest, but somehow I'm trying to remember his name. She Beverly Hills. He made his like signature on the show. Um, Kevin Lee. There you go. He came to mind. Is that name? I had to Google it now, you guys. I had to Google it because now I'm going to be thinking about it. Yes. Let me see. Is it Kevin Lee? I'm gonna look it up. Lisa Vanderpump. You guys, this is real life. I'm googling who was Lisa Vanderpump's event planner because I want to make sure that I got it right. Yeah, Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee. She. By this is legit his Instagram account. She Kevin Lee. Oh, so we are back to having people like that on the show, like Jenna Lyons, chef, private chef. Now he goes out with the other ladies because he said, "Let them know that I meet them out." So they've been hanging out outside Jenna Lyons' home. So we need more of that, more nonsense. I'm happy that it's so light and so like unserious in so many levels, but serious in some others that it has to be. Um, so yeah, 100%. If you're not watching, uh, Ronnie, the new Ronnie, you need to. It's truly a big fresh start to Bravo. We needed a fresh start for Housewives. A lot of of the current housewife need a reboot like this. I'm looking at you, Atlanta, because honestly, I love you, and I have loved you for a long time, very long time. But this season, it's just grasping for, you know, for air, gasping for air to survive at this point. Um, Watch What Happened Live was another mess. The AC was not working, so Andy decided to do the show, pretty much showing his feet the whole entire time with the shirt open and the his jacket, his blazer was on the side of the shirt, the chair. He did not give one fuck. This man was like, "It's the last night that I'm gonna be here until after the summer. I don't care. You're gonna see my feet." He's giving you feet pictures for free. For all those people out there who like feet, you had a great night watch what happened last night, didn't you? I'm not a big feet person. Like, I respect all kinks and all the stuff. Like, whatever floats your boat, go ahead. But I find feet to be really ugly. I do not like feet close to me. So I didn't get the excitement of Andy showing his feet last night on Watch What Happened live, but I did see a lot of people online saying that they found it very interesting and exciting. um, Jessel was a great guest. Very upbeat, funny, interesting, and really invested on the conversation. She was very quick on catching and the shade. I mean, for a first time on her own, first seat too. I mean, honestly, sitting next to Michael Rappaport, that was really offensive. I'm sorry. Like, they need to stop sitting Michael Rappaport next to women of color after what he did to Kenya, and I'm happy that Kenya read him for filth. It still it still is one of the most iconic moments on Watch What Happened Live, and it wasn't because of him. It was because the way that she quickly checked him. I mean, I don't understand the I don't know, the fascination of Bravo of to bring this person like every other month. Like, come on, like, how many times we need to see his face on our screen? I don't care. And he's a little delusional. Like, honestly, like, I don't care. I mean, I think we all want to share our opinions on housewives, on Bravo shows. I mean, obviously that's what we do. What we do, podcaster. We talk about this a lot. I think more than we should. We're not getting checks from Bravo. Bravo needs to start cutting us checks, or at least let us buy our tickets for BravoCon before everybody else, because we spend hours and hours promoting your shows and we get no checks. So at least be kind enough to send like a private invitation to Bravo content creators to get their tickets for BravoCon, because I've seen so many people who spend hours a day talking and promoting Bravo shows, having big followings, not being able to get tickets to BravoCon. I mean, all my friends got them. All the people that I know and that I contact and I talk to on a daily, they all got their tickets for BravoCon. Christian Snow, who has a long history of housewife, historian, personality. He had to wait for the 1 day sale to get his VIP 1 day passes. So sometimes I feel like Bravo should find ways to kind of like thank those content creators, the people who actually promote their shows and stuff. That's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be in the form of like monetary, checks or cash. No, there are other ways to kind of like acknowledge and make us feel like the time that we invest, it's appreciated by the network, right? But Michael Rappaport saying that he wants to be a moderator for BravoCon, which is completely fine. Um, that I would love to do that too. I'm pretty sure Candy here would love to do that too. Be BravoCon as a moderator for whatever panel they have. But to say that the fans will be disappointed, like, oh, the fans will be so disappointed if I don't get to moderate a panel. I'm like delusional, delusional much. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Rappaport. I mean, he can be funny at some stuff, but Bravo is not his forte. That's all I gotta say. Ooh, you guys, this has been really, really fun. I have a special guest coming on my pod on Friday. He is a TikTok influencer. He is part of that young generation of using TikTok to create dances and be creative and stuff like that. And they are going to join me on Friday to talk about Housewife and Bravo. Big fan of Bravo too, so uh, I'm happy to bring somebody here to talk to me, Candy. Also, I want to have you on once again since you're here. The doors are open for you to come at any time, whenever you want to. So let's coordinate because I'm pretty sure we have a lot to talk about and catch up. My girl Candy. So, yes, you guys, as you can see, I haven't recapped Crappy Lake. I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to watch it last night because between pausing shows and screenshotting stuff and posting tweet, kind of overlap with Crappy Lake last night. It was a lot to tweet about, and then watch what happened live started, and then I fell asleep. But what I'm going to do to make it special is I'm gonna watch Crappy Lake tonight, and I'm gonna say the recap to talk to my guest about it. So we're gonna be talking about the whole entire season of Crappy Lake. As we all know, Crappy Lake is ending this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday, the last episode for Crappy Lake. I love that show. We need more shows like that. We need more silly reality TV that is really just to watch and enjoy and not to freaking get depressed and not wanting to talk to like the human, and be part of society because human can be mean. Okay, you guys, I love you, Candy. Love you too, besties. It has been a great night. I'm so happy that I get to see you and talk to you and have all my guests here on the live chat. Erin, thank you for being here. Barbara, thank you for being here. Candy, thank you for being here. As you all know, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, on Threads and TikTok as Martinez with Eddie. Obviously, TikTok. Twitter is the place to be if you want the hot news and the hot takes and the live tweets. Go to Twitter. If you want the quick post, you can go to Instagram. Also, I have a merch line on my website, martinezwitheddie.com, which, by the way, I'm creating a collaboration with an artist to bring a special merch for BravoCon. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I'll be releasing it very soon. If you're going to BravoCon, you should wear it. If you are not going to BravoCon, you should get it so you can feel like you are there with us. As I'm going to be sharing a lot of BravoCon content on my members only on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. My last request is like, please, 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 the best way for you guys to support me as a content creator is by simply following and subscribing to my podcast and leaving a rate, because the more ratings, the more visibility is gonna have my podcast, and people are gonna know what my podcast is all about. So it simply just help us content creators to kind of like survive in the sea of creative minds. Besties, I will see you guys on Friday, and like I always say it with me, 1 2 3, bye besties.